Already. Okay. So you guys have access to the replays until Sunday for those of you who are not on VIP, right? For those of you who are in VIP, you have 30 days, right, of going back and watching those replays. And the reason the replays are important, every day that I've shared with you this week, literally, I'm sharing the same content with you that our members are getting, right? It's compressed, but for the most part, those concepts, secret number one, shifting from an income to a wealth mindset, right? That was mindset, strategy, looking at where your money is going, making sure that you're turning your income into wealth, because that's what the wealthy do, right? And then turning your income into wealth and accelerating your financial growth. And that's what we're going to double click on today. So I want to really encourage you to go back and review that content, right? Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I get distracted, right? And maybe there's something that I didn't hear. And in my coaching program, I'm gonna make sure I get every dime, right? So look at Stephanie. Stephanie, that's right. That's why I'm here today. I'm in WealthyU Society, but this is Stephanie. How many challenges is this for you? In the chat, let me know. This is probably your third challenge, and you still moving and grooving. So the point I want to make is you get what you put into it. So who's ready to get started with the fourth day of our I don't know, but I pick up something. I know. I just love you, Stephanie. Stephanie we have strategic advisory every month. Stephanie makes sure she is on that. So hold on, I'm going to pin this for just a minute, and we are going to go right into our fourth day session. So let me just as a review, right? So to review what we've been through this week, on Monday, it was wealth secret number one. And you learned about the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of the wealthy and how they do the opposite of what most people do. And that's why they end up in a different place. They have an income mindset. Do you guys remember that? Where I talked about the fact that the difference between the middle class and the wealthy is how we look at money. Let me just bring that up, right? So while we buying all these degrees, they're getting mentors and syndicates and joining golf clubs because they know that proximity dictates performance. While they're running for that six figures, they're turning that six figures into wealth. And they're taking that money and they're investing in companies that pay dividend. That's what we're going to double click on tonight, right? Rather than buying a McMansion, they're buying their first property as investment property, and they're playing Monopoly. Rather than buying that Tesla Model 9 and making Elon Musk rich, they're getting rich with Elon Musk. And rather than buying that Louis Vuitton bag, they're buying Louis Vuitton stocks. Makes sense? All right. So what is the difference? The difference is we got to learn how to turn our income into wealth. That is the difference. And that's what you learn how to do in WealthyU. So day 3, how to turn other people's, day 2, you were supposed to find the money. In the chat, let me know, how much money did you guys find? Did you call the insurance company? Did you get rid of some of those subscriptions? Did you make a commitment to reduce some of your spending? Be conscious, be intentional. Now listen, I am not frugal Fanny either. You know, everything's done intentionally and with balance, but I would love to see if you guys did the Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. And in the chat, let me know, what were you able to find? What expenses were you able to reduce so that you can have more cash flow? Come on, y'all, don't be quiet, because that's where the rubber meets the road. And if you'll notice, when I showed you the difference between the wealthy mindset and the income mindset, it was just that, taking their cash flow and investing in the same things they spend their money on. Gina says, I'm reducing nail appointments and Starbucks run. That's right. Altheria, you are not playing. You found another $400, reduce eating out. I'm going to tell you, that's huge, huge, huge. That is the perfect way to find additional cash in your budget. Okay, so day 3, I talked about turning other people's fears into your fortune. And I told the story of how when I started in the investment industry, how I noticed during a stock market crash, wealthy people doing the opposite, but they weren't buying just anything, they were buying blue chip stocks. You guys remember that? Absolutely. Okay. And then so we're on day 4 tonight. And now we're going to talk about how to speed up your financial growth so you can close the gap between your money and where you are right now. Who is ready to get into how you can accelerate your financial growth? So how many of you know that many of you are standing 10 feet away from gold? Do you guys believe that? I hope you do, because I'm going to share a little something with you, right? Hold on just a moment. Listen, I'm going to go to my gallery view so that I can see all of you. And then what I want to do, I want you guys to take a look at the tape. How many of you believe that you could accelerate to 7 figures? Check this out.
You can be a millionaire in retirement, and you don't need to earn top dollar to do it.
The studies show that these weren't multimillionaires. These were typically someone earning up to $150,000.
Wealth expert Deborah Owens has clients whose retirement accounts have a lot of zeros. One of those clients is Tracy Washington. While she's not at $1 million just yet, she's certainly on her way, and she arrived there with careful planning and research. In 2016, Tracy sold her home and lived with her mother for 6 months. During that time, Deborah told her to put every cent of her paycheck into her 401k.
What I initially said was well, what do you want me to live on? I mean, what do you want me to do? I said, you want me to take it out of my savings? She's like, yeah, just very matter of fact.
But that big risk put Tracy closer to her $1 million goal. While you may not have the luxury of living rent-free, Deborah says you can find your own path to 401k millionaire status. First, start saving early. According to the Motley Fool, a 30-year-old only has to contribute about $600 a month into their 401k to reach $1 million by age 65. But if you start saving when you're 40, you'd have to put away more than $1,200 a month. Second, always contribute the max. People with more than $1 million in their accounts typically contribute at least 15% of their salary. Third, take risks. Log into your 401k account and look at your portfolio. Research your investments and make changes to them if necessary.
Instead of just going with what's the easy investment, what is Fidelity throwing me into? Really research, look at the NASDAQ 12, know what stocks, mutual funds you are interested in.
And finally, invest in the stock market and targeted funds over a long period of time.
Well, the funny thing about that story, so that's true. That was in 2016. So how many of you guys think, Tracy probably is over 7 figures now? So the point I want to make, and the reason why, what do you guys, I want to get your feedback. What did you think about that story? Do you think if Tracy can do it, you can do it too? Well, listen, if you heard some of the terminology that she was using, It was, analyze and research your stock. You see, I'm true to this. What did she say? Don't just let them throw you into anything. That is so true. But what's interesting is that the reporter herself, I know she didn't understand herself, because the members in Wealthy, I do not like target date funds in the chat. When you guys heard that, you were like, she don't know what she's talking about, right? So the point I want to make is you can accelerate your growth. And a caveat I want to put on that. I did not tell her to put every dime that she made in her 401k. I just want to clarify something about that story. The truth is that when I met Tracy, she had not been putting enough in her 401k, right? And so she was making a lot of income. And so all she was doing was paying a lot in taxes. So it was in October. And the thing about the 401k is that money has to come out of your paycheck, right? With the 401k, you can't just add money to it. It has to come out of it had to come out of her paycheck. So in order for her to get the maximum in, she had to let all her paychecks go in there, and she had to live off of the savings. So I just wanted to clarify that. But let me just put it this way. She saved more on taxes. She put the maximum in. And I know it's been about a year since I've talked to her, but I know if she's not near it, she was over it. Certainly the market's been down. But the reason I wanted you to see that story is that if she can do it, you can do it too. And so now I want to talk a little bit with you about how do you do that in WealthyU? Well, the truth is, let me go to this first. Here's what I want all of you to understand. And I show this chart over and over and over is because this is what the average investor earns on their investments. And it really is because you don't know what you don't know, right? So for example, earlier, Rhonda was talking about how she put $10,000 in. She did want to invest it in something, but they said, oh no, just be safe, right? So this is basically what Rhonda has been earning. So when you learn how to go here, this is how we accelerate your financial growth. But then how do you do that, right? Well, here's what I want all of you to know is that what the wealthy know is they take advantage of all opportunity levers, right? So those opportunity levers are the first thing you have to make sure you have is a solid foundation, right? So that solid foundation means that you've got savings, that you even have a business opportunity fund. All of you need to be thinking about what your side gigs are. How can you create value and with it additional income, right? The other foundational asset that wealthy people have is real estate. So begin to think about how you can make those types of investments, not just your principal home. So that's number one. Number two is the next part is taking advantage of every tax advantage investment that you have at your disposal. So tell me in the chat, how many of you have access to a 401k, a 403b, a 457 if you work for the government? In the chat, let me see what you got. How many of you have that opportunity? 401k, that says 403b. I do. I have a 457. That's right, Rhonda. Let's talk about, okay? So how many of you are also taking advantage of your either investing in a regular IRA, a Roth IRA, or a backdoor Roth IRA? Roxanne, she's got a 401k and a 456. Okay, so many of you have are able to take advantage of that. How many of you have what's called a health savings account, right? So an HSA savings account, a flexible spending account. Yeah, but so I have an HSA, you have taken advantage of that. How many of you have worked for other employers and you have funds sitting somewhere else that you left it or you never rolled it over? So Roz says she has an SD, HSA, an FSA stock saving plans. Right. How many of you work for a public company and they have either employee stock purchase plans, which allow you to, yeah, Gina, so you may possibly have some funds somewhere else. So the other thing that's happening is we're changing jobs more frequently. And as a result of that, we have assets. You know, I have, who was it here? I think Dr. Z, we found $35,000. Belinda, she had a $30,000 sitting somewhere. And so that money is not being leveraged. Okay, so Velvet said Eastman Kodak, I have funds with them. You may also have an employee stock purchase program, which would allow you to invest in your company's stock at a discount. But of course, we want to make sure that is a good investment. So we're going to analyze and research it, right? How many of you have, so I've talked about employee stock option programs. Some of you have tuition reimbursement programs. Some of you, your company might even pay for some additional certifications. We must start taking advantage of everything is in our purview, but oftentimes, how many of you feel like in the chat, like you might not know what to do? How many of you aren't even sure of what your whole benefit check package is? If you say, I'm not sure, if you're not sure, okay? Next, the other thing wealthy people do is they create tax deferred accounts. So they do IRAs, they invest in an IRA and then they make it a Roth IRA through a backdoor IRA, right? Some of you, how many of you have investments that you could invest over and above your 401k? You have like, they're called supplemental retirement funds, and they allow you to invest in those. And what you may not know is that then you could do what is called a mega backdoor IRA, right? Then we go up, so there's levels to this. This is what I'm telling y'all, right? There's levels to this. And a lot of you don't know what levels you have, okay? Then the next aspect of the high net worth, the wealthy strategy, is investing in companies that are paying dividends or capital gains, or investing in a stock portfolio for long-term capital gains so that they take advantage of a lower or tax rate on that income. And then, of course, you get to the next place, you got to protect what you earn. And then that's, what you built, and that's estate planning. How many of you have a will, a living will, a trust? If you have those, these are the things that wealthy people do to protect what they earn. Okay, Gina says those are on her to-do list. Can I be honest with you? The reason that so much wealth is lost in families, do you know why? You know why so much wealth is lost in families? Why do you think it is? We don't have proper wills. That's right, probate. We're putting our names on property. When we do that, we take on the cost basis of whatever that person purchased it at originally, as opposed to it passing on to us through a will. And now there aren't any tax liabilities. And now you got the cost basis of what it is today. That's right, Miss D, no will, no life insurance. And so what I want you to understand is the reason the wealthy get wealthy and stay wealthy. Why do you think that is? Because they create intergenerational wealth. So most of us are scratch babies. That's right, asset protection. Why are we scratch babies? Because we start from scratch. I mean, think about that. I made that up, but think about when you make a cake from scratch, right? It's not like you got Pillsbury where you already got to start and all you got to do is throw some water, some milk, and some eggs in it, right? No. What do we have to do? We got to go get the eggs. We got to get the flour, depending upon the recipe that we're making. We got to sift the flour. So that's the point. That's an analogy that I like to use because I want you to understand that the wealthy don't start the same place we do. Is this making sense to you? Like you go into these places and you're wondering, well, how do they have a summer home? You want to know how? Because that's third generation. Somebody bought that house for $12,000 and it is now worth 1.2 million. I have a friend whose parents had this house and it was a little beach house and, you know, it didn't look like anything, but because of its location, that bad boy, then what did they do? They tore that bad boy down and bought, and this house is fabulous. And, you know, it's like 2 blocks from the beach. How were they able to do that? Because somebody planted a tree 50 years ago. Are y'all with me? And that's why I need you to understand why you got to plant some trees today. Is this making sense to you? Like you have the wherewithal to do it. It's not going to happen overnight, but over time, you can accelerate your financial growth, but you have to listen. You got to get knowledgeable about what your opportunities are. You have opportunities right there in front of you, but because you don't understand what they are, you don't know what lever to pull. Y'all want me to go deeper? Now, here's the other thing I want all of you to understand. And this is something that I finally figured out probably in my 3rd year of coaching. It's like I got to the point where it's like, oh, well, they need to do this, right? Oh, well, they need to do this because everybody's opportunity lever is different. Are y'all with me? You know, that's why I went over all those different plans. Some of you are with a public company, so you need to be taking advantage of that, right? Some of you have a 450. Oh, but listen, now this is the thing right here. Gosh. Some of you have access to self-directed investment accounts through your employer, but you'll never know it. You know why? Because they hide it. You literally have to see this little bitty thing that says self-directed. Now, Virginia Rutherford Hall, one of our ambassadors, we figured out she had been in these, I mean, like so how many of you, when you go into your retirement plan, you only had these like 5 or 6 little choices, right? You might have like 3 large company funds, 3 medium-sized company funds, 3, you probably don't even have any small cap. Then you're going to have like 20 of those target date funds where they invest on your behalf and hide all their bad funds in it. I'm just telling you like it is, right? And so that's the point that I want to make. The reason that you have to get more knowledgeable about it is because access to that self-directed account is going to open up the door to like thousands of investments that you never had opportunity for. Here's another tip. For those of you who have left employers and you either have those funds at an employer, listen, if you were employed with a company over 5 years.
You want to get in your thing? Well, then stop getting out of it. Daddy pushing you.
Okay, sorry, Deborah, I gotta silence you. Okay, so if you were with an employer for more than 5 years, you were probably vested, right, in a pension. And what you don't realize is, and what they're not going to tell you, is that if you go back, you can probably go back to that employer. Actually, you can go to, it's the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation to find out if there's money. But you want to know the easiest way to find out? I need for everyone, I'm giving up the goods, right? Because I want you guys got to lean in. You can go to ssa.gov. You can get your, it's a personal earnings statement. Remember, we used to get them like every year, then it got too expensive. Now they only send it every 5 years. But you can go on there and you can see your whole work history, because all of those employers had to withhold taxes. Okay. And so then I want you to look at the time frame that you were with those employers. Okay. If it's over 5 and you didn't take any money with you, then you need to find out if you were vested and if you have funds there. Is this making sense to you? So the point I'm making to all of you ladies is it's hidden wealth, right? Like it's hiding in plain sight though, but you just don't know what you're looking at. In the chat, if this is making sense, let me know if this is making sense. Okay, so accelerate. This is all about your investment opportunity levers. Okay, now, so then, well, Ms. Owens, if that's true, right? If that's true, then just because I have some money, how do I make it grow? Y'all want to know how I make it? You're going to make it grow? What have I been talking about all week? Where are you going to invest your money? You're going to invest your money in those same companies you've been spending money with, but you're not going to invest them with just any companies. You're going to invest in companies that have stood the test of time. Are you with me? And when you do that, magic happens. Okay? Magic happens. Now, let me show you how. So, before I go there, how many of you still maybe just a little in doubt about, I don't know, you know what, this might not work for me? How many of you are like, I got Dad, I got everything. This might not work for me. It's hard. It might work for her. Anybody feel that way right now? Feel like, oh, this might not work for me. I got too many things going against me. Any of you feel like that? How many in the chat? I mean, come on now. I've been transparent with y'all, right? Come on. Do you feel, if you feel that way, how many of you want to be inspired? Rhonda says, I'll take the risk. I got nothing to lose. Said, I did, but not now. Somewhat. I did, but I take chances on other things. No, I don't feel overwhelmed. Misty says, I'm just here to learn and here to be inspired. Well, here's what I want you to know. No matter where you are on your journey, I don't care if you got $100,000 worth of debt. I don't care what you have. Do you know you could turn it around? And do you know that so much of it is just your mindset? Have you guys been inspired this week? Have you? Like seeing all of these women show up just like you and wanting to make their life different. And then we've been showing you stories, right? Like real people. That's why I started Get Wealthy, because I had to get these stories out here and I was intentional about it. I wanted to, every one of your excuses, I just wanted to knock down. Oh, I'm not smart enough. We got people in here that didn't know a stock from a bond. Tell them, Anita. On Zoom with people, they'd be like, what? Don't mean to sound silly, but I'm just telling you guys, listen, we got you. There is no excuse you can come up with that we have not heard, okay? But what I want you to know is that check this out, because this is an amazing story right here.
First thing we talked about was mindset. And once the mindset was created and the vision was created, then it was, all right, now strategy. By the end of that year, I was able to pay off what I needed to and have monies left over to then push myself into a 6-figure retirement portfolio. What you need is a process, because the process will then multiply when you have more money. If you have no process, then that same chaos is going to get multiplied when you get more money. For me, it was, okay, I have this debt to pay for. I have a car, I have my student loan, I have investments that I want to potentially make, all these different little banks and accounts. And then at that point in time, you can put $2, $5, $10, but the process is really what you want to start getting yourself into the habit of doing. By the end of the year, I still had about $40,000 left. And that increase in my income and then the strategy I've been executing within that whole year allowed me to pull that trigger. But I must say, I was still scared. And then I just had to say, you know what, this is something you always wanted to do, make this your goal. And that's what really kind of planted the seed for me to be able to attack the goal of paying off my student loans and getting to 6 figures in my retirement.
Boom! Boom! But here's the funny thing, you guys. This is what's so funny. So, I have this show, Get Wealthy. You guys need to follow me. They're always telling me, follow her, make sure your people are watching, right? So you guys gotta join the Black Star Network. You gotta go on YouTube, you gotta watch it. But I'm gonna tell you the reason that I wanted to, because all these remarkable things were happening, but because here's what I want you to know, it really is, you saw, what, is that the second story? That's the second one I've shown tonight, right? I want to see if you guys hear it. Did you hear one? What is the common thing that they all say? What is the common thing? What is the common theme that they all say this one thing? Strategy, mindset. Okay, so that's what I want you to understand, is that we can teach you how to analyze and research a stock. We can teach you how to analyze and research a mutual fund. We can teach you how to open up a brokerage account. But if you keep that income mindset, your little brain gonna be saying, don't do that. I know they say do it. I'm just telling you. But what's really funny? I love what I do. Can you guys tell that I love what I do? And the reason I love what I do is because I interview these women, and I'm not with them every day. I don't know how their portfolios are growing. So what would happen is my two producers, right? Because on Black Star Network, I have a technical producer, I have an associate producer, and I have he's like the magician, the man that keeps everything running. So when I start this program, I say, oh, and what happened? Oh, well, yeah, I had all this debt, I paid it all. I'm like, whoa. Right? And then they say, oh, yeah. And now I'm at 6 figures, yeah, and I bought that house and it went up to this and blah. Standing there dumbfounded. And then we get off the show and they're like, wow. I look at them, I'm like, wow. Right? keeps happening over and over again, right? So what I want you to know is that we have a process that when applied, and when you run these plays like an athlete, and when you have a system, it will work. Is this making sense to you guys? Who wants me to go deeper? You ready to go higher? Okay, so how does that happen? Right? So how does it happen? So I want to just briefly, show you. Hold on. I hope I have this chart. Hang on. It's on the wrong computer. Let me just see if I have it though. Hang on. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to go back to this because I want here. This is easy enough. I have another chart. Wait, wrong thing. Hang on. Okay, let me find my other chart. Acceleration. Okay. So here's what I want you to, this is how it happens. Like you might not have 2,000 now, but what I want you to know is that what the biggest impact is here, right? When we show you how to get your money compounding at a higher rate of return, and not only that, when you're doing this systematically and when the market goes down, you're accumulating more shares. When you,
Yeah.
Deborah, you got to mute yourself, sweetie. You keep coming on mute. I'm going to mute you. Okay. So what I want you to know is that when we increase those returns here, that's what has your money compounding, right? Because I want you to think of it this way. Your money should be doubling every 6 to 7 years. And if it's not, then you know you're in the wrong investment. Okay, so I want you to think about it. So using the rule of 72, if I'm getting an average return of 10%, then I divide that into 72, then that means every 7 years my money's doubling, right? If I'm getting an average annual return of 12%, then that 12 goes into 72, then my money is doubling. And that's what you learn in WealthyU. Many of you are sitting in the 2%. That's what you're averaging. That's what the average investor earns because they're in these either bonds or very conservative funds, your G fund, right? Your fixed fund for those of you who are who work for the federal government. If you look at the historical returns on those investments, they don't grow. So what you learn how to do in WealthyU is make your money grow faster. And I want, and here, I got to go to the tape one more time on you because you guys need to see this. You want to see someone who accelerated her financial growth to 7 figures beyond right here in WealthyU? Watch the tape.
I didn't know the steps required to have gains in the stock market. I wanted to do more for myself as to help my parents if they needed to, and also to buy a new home. And so having those long-term goals, I had to change my mindset to know that savings really wasn't enough, that I needed to take a chance in the stock market, and that it was okay because there's no reward without taking some risk. Through analyzing the mutual funds that I was placed in and also some of the other products that were proposed to me, I was able to determine that they were not in my best interest. I have shifted my investments to a different platform that is more advantageous. From there, I started on a daily basis, then It morphed to weekly and then monthly because, as you know, investment is a long-term game. I was very concerned about market downturn in March of 2020. Today, I know the market is down as well, but now's the time for me to buy. Last year, my parents and I were extremely ill. Thanks to the shift in mindset, I was able to financially weather our storm, to provide financial support to my parents when I could, but also I was able to care for myself. Financially, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was still just saving.
All right. So you guys want to see the system? How we're able to do that over and over and over? Who wants to see the system? In the chat, if you want to see it, let me know. You want to see, and what did she say? Did you hear the thing? What was the thing that she said was responsible for her being able to achieve those goals? Mindset. All right. Mindset is everything. Okay. And in fact, I do have the slide that I was trying to find. I do have now. Okay. So I'm going to briefly go through a presentation and show you exactly where the money resides. Okay, I'm gonna stop being silly. I hope you guys know we have a lot of fun in WealthyU too. We don't just look at numbers and no, we figure you got to take the edge out and have some fun. So in the chat, if you guys want to know how all of these women have been able to accelerate their financial growth and what the system they keep talking about is, let me know in the chat. Say, yes, yes, I want to know the system. All right. Okay. So let me bring that right up. And let's see if we can. So can everybody see my screen? So what I want all of you to understand is that the origin of, how can I get rid of this? Hang on. And I don't mean for you to, for some reason, I cannot get rid of this little. Hang on, guys, I'm gonna have to stop sharing. Can you guys see that little chat that's in front of me? Okay, I think I got rid of it. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So what I want you to know that the secrets of the 1%, the concepts that I shared with you directly correlate with the system. So basically, what I had to do was take mindset, that's the framework, shift from an income to a wealth mindset. So you're going to no longer be just focused on income. You're going to be focused on turning your income into wealth. I covered strategy. Part of that tonight was identifying your unique investment opportunity levers. That's what every one of those women that you saw tonight did. And then you got to create a system. It's what Tamika said, right? She said you need a system because if you don't have a system and how did she frame it? All you'll end up is with more chaos if you were to get more money. Okay, so I went over this already, and I went over the opportunity levers, but one of the things I wanted you to see was how it doesn't matter how much. So let's say if you're just putting in $250 a month, right? But if that $250 a month goes from earning 4 or 5% to 8% to 12%, look at how it grows, right? So this is how the system works. Is you make the income to a wealth mindset, and then you start taking your income and turning it into wealth. So you start increasing the amount you're putting in, and you increase the rate of return. And that's the secret. That's how your money starts compounding. So that really is the framework. Let me just go back. First thing is shift from saving to investing, right? Identify your opportunity levers, and then put the money and started investing it in the same companies that you're buying things from, that are in the long run the only thing that has ever had an average rate of return of 10, 11, 12%. And so over these 4 days, you've learned why you must make the shift from an income to a wealth mindset so you can accelerate your financial growth. You've also learned, I just shared with you about the investment opportunity levers and their role in helping you achieve financial independence. And then finally, you learn why you need a system to accelerate your financial growth. So in order to achieve the same thing, you've got to make your money grow. But here's the caveat, is that most of you would already be millionaires if you had known what I'm sharing with you. If that's true, if you believe that, in the chat, say, do you think I would already be a millionaire? Based on what you learned in these past few days, if you had the knowledge, if somebody had shared this with you earlier, would you already be a millionaire? Absolutely, right? And so the secret sauce is the system, and the sooner you start, the faster you're going to go, and the closer you're going to be to creating financial independence. So how do we do it with our program? So we have 3 programs. You're running for your first 6 figures, the WealthyU 101 program. You're running for your first 7 figures, the WealthyU Society program, or you're running for 7 figures and beyond. We take all of that into the account. But what I would say is, even if you're not at 6 figures yet, you can still aspire to run for your first 7 figures. That's certainly what Tamika did. And who else did I show? And Dia, you've seen all of them. They started here in the WealthyU Society. Tamika started here, even though you saw she was in a lot of debt, but making that shift from an income to a wealth mindset changed everything for her. But what I want you to know, the real secret sauce is the community, a circle of like-minded women who will inspire you. Hopefully, if you've been inspired this week, in the chat, let me know if you've been inspired. Because here's what's important. Imagine you had the same kind of energy around you every day instead of just 5 days. That's the secret. And so our financial success roadmap, our programs are either 6 months or 12 months, right? So the WealthyU 101, you're really analyzing and optimizing and figuring out what you have. The WealthyU Society and the Legacy Wealth Accelerator are 12-month programs, and they're much more robust in terms of everything that you learn. So what I'm going to share with you this evening is really our WealthyU Society 12-month program. Is analyze, optimize, maximize, and accelerate your financial growth. And full disclosure, every one of those financial makeovers, those financial transformations started in the WealthyU Society, and then many of those same women went into our higher program, which focuses on those high net worth strategies that I talked about, building a dividend portfolio, tax advantage investing, backdoor IRAs, that sort of thing. But our WealthyU Society is our largest program. You all applied, and for all intents and purposes, you all qualify to go into this program. So let's get to it. The WealthyU Society has about $50,000 worth of value in it. And I'm going to show you each of the components. Exclusive coaching, strategic advisory, our WealthyU curriculum, our WealthyU Society community, our member success advisors, our skill building sessions, and our WealthyU events. So let me start with the WealthyU curriculum. If you'll recall, one of the things I shared was after I wrote the book, A Purse of Your Own, I built a curriculum for a university in Massachusetts from that A Purse of Your Own book. And that's the same curriculum that you matriculate through in WealthyU. Value, $9,547. How did I come up with that number? That is what I was paid to create that curriculum. Now, in addition to that, you also get monthly strategic advisory sessions where you come in, you apply, or not really apply, you schedule your session and you say that I'm going to be on strategic advisory. And then I'm able to give you that insight and help you understand what opportunity levers you need to choose. Value, that's 12 monthly sessions. We show up every month. I was talking with Stephanie. Stephanie shows up at strategic advisory every month, a value of $10,475. Now, this is me looking at someone's defined contribution plans. You see me over there, just what, I mean, everything. I know how you guys feel. It seems so overwhelming, but that's why you have mentorship. Someone here that's going to help you figure it out and find out where your hidden wealth assets are and what opportunity levers you need to be pulling. So our WealthyU 10-module curriculum, exclusive coaching with me, those two components of the WealthyU Society, a value of $20,000. Okay, now here is the real secret sauce, our member success advisors. So all of you, how many of you know who your WealthyU ambassadors are? In the chat, I want you to name your WealthyU ambassador and know that she's been trying to connect with you, because guess what? When you join WealthyU, she becomes your member success advisor. And what's so magical about these ladies and what I love about them is that they were sitting right where you were tonight. They decided they invested in themselves. They joined the WealthyU community. They joined the WealthyU Society. Some of them are, some are in Legacy Wealth Accelerator. They level up themselves, but every month they have a member success meetup and they are your connection. So it's not like you're going to have to matriculate through all of this on your own. They are there to show you the way because they have internalized all the same concepts. But not only that, they have also had the financial transformation themselves. And so they know exactly what you need to do to get the kind of results that are required for you to get to your first 6- and 7-figure investment portfolios. So they are, so your strategic advisory, the curriculum and portal, your member success advisors, plus you have member success meetups monthly. And that's so we make this smaller so that you each month will get to meet other women like yourself. They may be at different stages, but here's the other thing I want all of you to know is that you can never get behind in WealthyU. Anybody want to guess why? Why do you think you can never get behind? because we all start at different places. That's right. You do get mentorship, but you can never get behind because we're all starting differently at a different place. So $10,000, $9,500, $7,500, we're already up to $30,000 in value because this is a 12-month program. This is not a course. Okay. Also, every week we have some type of skill building session going on. And again, those sessions are taught by our WealthyU ambassadors. These are all women who went through the program and now they're actually teaching the how-to. So that's every week. That's I'll say on average, we probably do 40 skill building sessions in a year. Next. So what are they? So analyzing and researching mutual funds, that's where you start because that's what most of you have. Then you're going to go to the next level and you're going to learn how to analyze and research stocks. You're going to learn how to open an account and how to use financial apps. You're going to learn how to create a stopwatch list. And you're also going to learn how to understand exactly what your wealth gap is. So, exclusive coaching, WealthyU curriculum and portal, member success advisor and monthly meetups, weekly skill building sessions. I said about 36, that's about right? A $40,000 value. Plus, another bonus, we also have WealthyU events. And that's when hang on, I'm not gonna go through all of these because we have a lot going on. But just so you know, we have WealthyU events, and that's when we have either retreats. We're gonna have we're going back in person this year. So that'll be announced pretty soon. What I want you to understand is you literally are getting over $40,000 worth of value in the WealthyU Society. But wait, there's more. You're even going to get access to our digital vault, and that's where you get access to all of our other workshops, our other curriculums, our ebooks, you name it, we have it in there, all at a value of more than $2,000. So the thing that I want you to understand is this is a robust program. So let me ask you, what do you think it's going to cost? You think it's going to cost you $40,000 to go into this program? I would love for you to just guess. What do you think, with all of the value that you're going to get at a 12-month, over the next 12 months when you join? Yes, it is individualized. It's individualized, Tina, because you're going to have a member success advisor and you're also going to have strategic advisory with me to address your specific needs so that you know what you are supposed to, what levers you need to pull to get further faster. So here's what I'm going to tell you. So $44,000 worth of value. Don says 10K. Joe says $49.95. Chiquita says 2,000. Here's what I want to tell you. Angela says 5K. Here is what 44,000 worth of value. $49.97. That's what this program costs. A 12-month program. Now here's how you can pay for it. You can pay in full, $49.97, or you can pay with your credit card. You can also use PayPal's Pay Later. And Pay Later will take those payments down as low as $249 a month. Now, come on, guys. That's what, if we looked over a week, what would that be? $60? Some of you were spending more than that on your hair and nails. But here's the point that I want to make. Your $49.97 is not an expense, is an investment. The question I have for you is, would you invest $49.97 so that you could get to your first 6 figures? Would that be worth it? Would that be worth it? Would you invest $49.97 to get to multiple 6 figures that you've seen most of the women in here? And the other question I have for you is, how many of you have invested more than this in a semester of school and have not gotten the type of returns that you're going to get with this? So, $44,000 worth of value, but guess what? I'm going to even give you another bonus. And that bonus is a level up credit, right? So let this whole amount of $49.97, if you want to level up into our Legacy Wealth Accelerator, you actually get a credit for that, because that's the point of it, right? So now you've got a $49.97. So you invest that $49.97, you still get a credit that you can use. And all of our programs work that way, right? So imagine Leah, right? Remember Leah? From spending all of her income to becoming debt-free and achieving an 849 credit score. When she sent that to her friend, she says, I've never had an 849 credit score. And that credit score allowed her, when she transferred to, and you can listen to her whole story, when she got another job, 40% more in a raise in income. When she moved, she was able to negotiate and get one of the best rates for her mortgage than she had ever in her own career. You already saw Belinda. Belinda went from bouncing checks to building an investment portfolio that catapulted her into the top 10% of African American wealth. If it can happen for her, can it happen for you? In the chat, I want you to put, it can happen for me. Dia Wen, you heard her story. From no investment portfolio to achieving an 84% return in 1 year. You heard Tamika, from a negative $50,000 in net worth to zero debt and a 6-figure retirement plan. She paid off $80,000 in less than 2 years. And how do they do it? Here's the system. First, we're going to help you identify what your personal wealth gap is. Then we're going to analyze and optimize what you already had. Then you're going to start increasing your investment contributions. You're going to take that money that you've been spending on everything else, and you're going to invest it in companies that are going to grow. You're going to learn how to analyze and research stocks. You're going to open a brokerage account and build a $1 million investment portfolio. So here's what I want you to know, is that each strategy you will learn is worth the investment on its own. You're going to learn how to identify your investment opportunity levers, analyze your portfolio, optimize the returns on your investments, maximize your investment contributions, and accelerate your financial growth. This, ladies, is the system, right? Mindset, strategy, execution. We help you identify and then create the right recipe for you, because it's different with everybody. And this in itself is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that's what you're going to see your portfolio to increase to. So the doors are open. All you got to do is join the WealthyU Society. If we could put the bit.ly link to the WealthyU Society in the chat right now. But let me just give you guys a sense. We have 3 programs, right? So I want to be completely transparent for you. The WealthyU Society is our flagship program. It is 12 months. Now, we do have WealthyU 101, which is my first 6 figures, and that is a full payment of $99.97 and $197 for 6 months. It helps you analyze it helps you get a firm foundation, all of those foundational things. That's correct. The next thing we have, that's our flagship program, our WealthyU Society. You can start here and level up to the WealthyU Society if you do so within the first 6 months of that program. And then we have a higher level, which is our Legacy Wealth Accelerator. For those who want to achieve 7 figures and beyond. It is $12,000 or $1,250 for 12 months. If you go into the WealthyU Society, you can also use this credit for that. Real people, real results. I talked about all of them. If they can do it, you can do it too. But what I want you to know as well is I've got a fast track bonus. So for those of you who, so let me just put that up for just a moment. If you go to that bit.ly link, you can pay with credit card. You can use pay later. Of course, that's PayPal. You have to apply for it. Whichever fits your budget, this is your time. But one of the other things that I wanted to offer for those of you who sign up and go in, I'm going to say the first 5 of you, okay? It's a fast track 60-minute strategy session with me. And typically these sessions are only reserved for our Legacy Wealth Accelerator. So again, one of the things I said to you is that fortune favors the swift. And so I always like to make sure that I put something in there for those of you who know you want to join, are ready to join, and are ready to accelerate your financial growth. So here's some of the questions that I know. I just want to answer some of these questions that is already going through your head. Is this going to work for me? It will work if you work it, right? Over and over again, what we see is when you apply this system, if you follow the system, mindset, strategy, and execution, we develop this program for you. And we know without a doubt that if you make a shift in your mindset, if you show up for skill building, if you show up for strategic advisory so we can identify what your investment opportunity levers are, you're going to see, well, you know what? The truth is you're going to be looking at things differently. And that's why you heard every one of those women say, mindset, mindset, mindset. You may even be thinking, is this information going to be too difficult to understand? I can assure you that the way we've developed this curriculum is one in which I don't care if you've never invested in your life, you are going to begin to understand because you have curriculum, you have coaching, and you have community. The accountability and support is everything. This is not a course where you're going to have to just go look at some little videos and try to figure it out on your own. Yes, we record everything, but we are live every week teaching the exact concepts and strategies that you need to use and you apply them almost right away. So the other question is, how long will this take? Well, the program is 12 months, but I will say that depending upon, and we have some people who are just, what can I say, overachievers, and within a couple of months, they're seeing changes. But I will say you will get a rhythm, and within the first quarter, you're going to start seeing a significant impact. Uh-oh, I'm gonna put a little fizz in the game. I'm gonna make the fast track a 90-minute session. How is that? But you have got to sign up by 12 o'clock midnight. And what time is it? Because I know I don't want to go. I want to be respectful of your time. Are there any questions in the chat? Any questions? What do you think about all this program answers, all this program offers? Well, here's all I want you to know is that we created this for you. Okay, I'm sorry, I think we got some questions out there. So let me go to gallery and okay, Misty, go right ahead. I asked you to unmute.
Yes.
All
All right. So
go ahead.
if you can hear me, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm tuning in from California. So I'm on the other side of the country. So
Oh, we have lots of members in California. Are you a north or south?
okay. I'm south. I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for having this program. I'm appreciative of it. And this is my first night of the challenge. Even though I signed up, there's been a lot of things going on in my life. So it's been a lot. So thank you for having this program. And after tonight, I'm definitely going to be at every Wednesday night session, whatever you have going on. I'm definitely coming in, because for me, it's like tonight, as you were getting ready to tune in and you sent reminders out, I was getting ready to work on my business plan and, to start generating business and working on my business plan and everything. And I said, okay, well, let me tune in. And then you started talking and I'm like, I was going to try to work and multitask. And someone just said, no, you have to listen. And so for that, I'm going to be a part of the program. And definitely, I don't have the finances right now to sign up, but when I do, I'm definitely going to make an investment, because this is something that I've been hearing in my spirit the whole time, the concept of mindset, changing my mindset about money and wealth and income and things of that nature. So tonight, definitely.
I love it. Well, Misty, here's what I'm going to say. I know, we know that you're busy. I mean,
yes.
Most of our members are women, right? And working women. And
yes.
So a couple of things I want to tell you, the replays are available.
Okay.
So do you know who your WealthyU ambassador, if we can find out who your WealthyU ambassador is,
yes.
Yeah, we'll put that in the chat. Here's what I want everybody to know. Is the only thing I'm going to tell you, and this is no hard sell on our part, because I tell every one of my ambassadors, everybody on the team, that we want you to want it as much as we want it for you. And so as a result of that, I'm going to mute you just so I can, I'm talking to everybody, right? So as a result of that, I can say with confidence, we literally know we can change your financial trajectory. Do you guys agree with that? Do you agree that these 4 days that what we've tried to bring to you is value, but also to inspire you to know you can do this, right? The only reason you're not further ahead financially is because you never had access to this information. And what I want you to know is that it has taken time talent, energy, and investment for us to create this the right way, right? How do we have those results over and over? It's very deliberate and it's very intentional. So all I'm going to tell all of you is that if you invest in yourself, I know that you're probably going to get a return on investment that is 10x, 20x than what you will invest. But it's a two-way street. So in order for this to happen, what we're going to need for you to do is make the investment get started. Now, I don't care where you start. You can start in WealthyU 101. You can start in WealthyU Society. But most of you should be in WealthyU Society. I looked at most of your applications. Now, some of you, a couple of things. If you have questions, connect. The offer is good until the 27th. That's exactly right. That is on the landing page, on the sales page, right? So Monday, the WealthyU Society closes. Okay, now if you want the fast track bonus, I bumped it up to 90 minutes, right? Then that is for those of you who sign up by tomorrow night at midnight. Now here's the deal. Some of you just simply, make the payment plan what you can afford, right? That makes sense. The best value is paying in full for $49.97. So it really makes sense. If you have the wherewithal to put that on a credit card, that is the best value, because but if you need to extend it, I say, you know what, why I love PayPal is because they're legitimate. I don't like a lot of these different finance companies because they sometimes can play a lot of games, but all I'm going to tell you is start, right? Start. Many of you have been praying for this. Know you should be further ahead. I know that within your first strategic advisory session, you're going to already see that you should have multiple six figures. Now, we're going to meet back here tomorrow night, and you're going to meet some of the women in WealthyU, right, who were sitting right where you were, and they'll be able to share their story with you, not just on video. If you have any questions, though, connect with your WealthyU ambassador. They can share what all your options are. Some of you, I know I'm going to be around for the next couple of days. And if you want to get on my calendar because you have some questions, feel free to do that, right? Just connect with your ambassadors. They know exactly how to make that happen. And then lastly, what is your biggest takeaway from these 4 days? What is the one thing that you're going to do differently? I want you to put it in the chat because I want you to make a public declarations, because when we do it publicly, typically we stick to it. So what's the one thing that you're going to do differently as a result of this Get Wealthy Challenge? I love it. Spend differently. That's right. Start making decisions based on how the long-term implication of it, right? Rhonda, everybody reduce spending. I love it. Change my mindset. Yes, Rhonda. Yes. And take a risk on this program. Yes, yes, yes. The best investment you can make is in you. But I would say, I'm not going to discount this. It's not just the knowledge. It's not. It's this community. I'm going to be honest with you. There's absolutely nothing like it where you can see people just like yourself making progress. You can have conversations with it and also have mentorship. That's why I'm here for y'all. That's exactly why I'm here. because I created something I wish I had had myself. Let's see, change my mindset and take a risk, intentional with my money. Misty says, Misty, I don't believe this is your first night. This is so cool. My biggest takeaway is to change my mindset from income to wealth, being consistent in my finances and changing my spending habits. Good night, honey. If you got all of that in one night, imagine, imagine what the other people have gotten. Love this. Gina says, reduce spending and redirect to investing, looking at finances to pay for the program. That's great. Change my mindset. That's right, Kyrie. Being mindful about how I spend my money, start investing. Mindset change and mindful about my money. Here's the other shift you all need to make. It's something I had to do too. You must understand the difference between an expense and an investment, right? Like, I don't want this program to be the last thing you invest in for yourself, right? So let me just tell you the lens that I put everything through when I'm making a decision about resources. Return on investment. How fast can I make my money back? Are y'all with me? I've invested 10,000, 20,000, almost 30,000 in a program. Why would I do that? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. 10 years ago, I wouldn't. I would have been trying to follow that person on the internet, get their emails, see if I could reverse engineer what they're doing, go on YouTube, see if I could, find one of their free courses, get some free nuggets. Listen, I'm just telling you guys, I'm you. And it wasn't until, you're trying to build something and, I would get to 6 figures with this business. And my husband said, well, you made multiple 6 figures out there in corporate. This thing better work or you need to go back to corporate. And I was, I received that. The other thing I want you to know is entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. Right? Like, I'm not one of these people telling you, you need to quit your, no. Listen, here's the other secret I want you to know is that 95% of those businesses aren't making over $40,000 in revenue. Okay, I'm not even taking expenses into that, right? So if anything, I would keep that day job and create a couple of other income streams. Is this making sense to you? But you must begin, once I began to understand, to put the things that I invested in for the business, for my growth, in the same context that I would for if I were investing, right, in a stock or a company. When I began to put things in through that lens, I began to make different decisions. And as I made those decisions, the more I invested with the right people who could tell me what I needed to do to scale, to get more of you in, to be able to deliver and make an impact rather than me just doing coaching one-on-one, right? There's a limit. Now, could I have an impact? Yeah, I could. But I want to leave you guys with this. The best thing I ever did was launch this WealthyU Society. Do you know why? Women started to accelerate faster. Why? Because of the community, right? So I was able to take the just little old me and duplicate it, right? So now you have member success advisors. You have people who've been with you. They can do the training. I'm not doing all the training. We can deliver with excellence. One person being out doesn't impact our ability to serve you. And so that's the point I want to make to you. Here's the biggest lesson. Cut a check for speed, right? I spent a decade out here trying to figure it out myself. I can't imagine how many more women I would have impacted if I had just got with the right people to show me how to do this the right way. Is this making sense to you? So I'm trying to impact 1 million women. First of all, if I hadn't taken that knucklehead attorney's advice, if I had just stayed with Bishop James, I probably would be at 1 million. Are y'all, you understand what I'm saying? So think, and I mean, I get mad every time I think about it. I should have been paying him to put me on God's Leading Ladies. And I got this knucklehead telling me, oh, they're trying to take advantage. Woo! Let me stop thinking about that. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, invest in yourself. Don't overthink it. Do the monthly payment. Do whatever you got to do, but get started. If you want to start in the WealthyU 101 and level up, you can do that, right? Last thing I'm going to say. Invest at the level of the results that you want. Somebody needs to hear this, right? So I'm down here trying to figure out, doing a little free stuff, going to all these different conferences where they put people up there, they saying stuff, they ain't never built nothing, right? I'm joining these little organizations. None of these people have ever built what I want to build, right? I got exactly what I deserved. I got exactly the return on my investment, which in many cases was not a lot. So if I can't leave you with anything else, it's that. Invest at the level of the results that you want. And with that, day 4 of the 5-day Get Wealthy Challenge. Thanks so much for joining us for these past 4 days, but we'll be right here, VIP, 7:30. 8 o'clock. I can't wait to see who does the fast track, because you need to get on my calendar with a quickness before it fills up, so that we can make sure that this is your best year ever. All right, team, thanks so much for staffing me this evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Oh, our real estate investing, we do a whole thing in our Legacy Wealth Accelerator program. We have a bad sister that teaches that. So, yep. Is there additional programs you would have to enter for additional costs to get more info? Yeah, I mean, Angela, get on my, get with your ambassador. And if you need to ask me some specific questions about your situation, they can get you on my calendar just to get some questions answered. And that goes for anybody. You know, I'm pretty accessible. It may be a little crazy these next few days, but they have some links to my calendar. I just want you, don't overthink this, guys. You got this. Okay? You got it. Let's make it happen. All right. Y'all have a great evening, everybody. And good night.